In this video, we are going to take up on the integer, the floating point and string data type. So what is a data type? A data type is a category for values and every value belongs to exactly one data type. So the values -2 and 30, for example, are said to be in integer values. The integer or int data type indicates the values that are whole numbers. That means it is without the decimal point. Numbers with the decimal point such as 2.4, 3.14, 2.8, 3.5, 100.6, 100.750 are called the floating point numbers or floats. Here we need to note that a whole number is an integer, a decimal number will be a floating point number. For example, if I say 42, it's an integer. If I say 42.0, then it becomes a floating point number. Some of the common data types which have been listed here, the data type and their examples. If you say the integers, it is -2, -1. All the numbers without a decimal point is an integer. 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then the floating point numbers which will be -1.25 or -1.0 or -0.5, 0.0, 0.5, 1.0, 1.25 and so on and so forth. All are having the numbers with a decimal point is a floating point number. And also we can use a string, say for example within single quotes A, within single quotes AA, within single quotes AAA, within single quotes hello, and 1 cats, whatever you want you can type. And within single quotes, then it is called as a string. Then Python programs can also have text values called strings or strs. Always surround surround your strings with a single quote characters. Say for example hello within single quotes or goodbye Python or real world again within single quotes. So Python knows where the string starts and where it ends. You can even have a string with no characters in it, which is called as an empty string, wherein you have a open single quote and closing single quote, which is called a blank string or an empty string. For example, if I say open single quote hello comma world exclamatory mark, if you don't close that by another single quote, then you will going to get a syntax error end of line while scanning string literal. Now we talked about the string concatenation and replication. What is string concatenation? The meaning of an operator may change based on the data types of the values next to it. For example, if I say plus is the addition operator when it operates on two values or two integer values or two floating point values, you can do that. But when it is operated on a string value, it joins the string as the string concatenation operator. So this is how the string concatenation works. But means a string can be added together. For example, if I consider the Kaveri Institute of Technology, if I want to join all these four words together, you can see Kaveri, which is in single quote. Of course, after Kaveri you have to give space, plus then within single quotes institute, and again give at the end E, you give a space, plus of, after F you give space, plus technology full stop. So within single quotes, and then if you press enter, you will going to get Kaveri Institute of Technology. Similarly, if I want to have the introduction to Python programming, you can write that the same way whatever we have written in the previous case. So introduction to Python programming. After introduction you give one space, plus after O you give one space, plus after Python, that is N, you give one space, plus programming and close it. So the expression evaluates down to a single value, the new string value that combines the text of the two strings. If you try to use the plus operator on a string and an integer value, the Python will give an error message. Python will not know how to handle this and it will display on error message. That means a Kaveri plus 42, if you give, Kaveri is a string whereas plus 42 is an integer. So can only concatenate string, not int to str. So that is the meaning of the error message. The error message can only concatenate string, not int to str. Means that Python thought you are trying to concatenate an integer to the string which is Kaveri, which is not possible. Your code will have to explicitly convert the integer to a string because Python cannot do this automatically. Similarly, if the star operator multiplies two integers or floating point values, but when the star operator is used only one string value and one integer value, it becomes a string replication operator. So that means you have Kaveri star 2 means Kaveri, it will go to write twice. The expression evaluates down to a single value that repeats the original string a number of times. The star operator can be used with only two numeric values for multiplication or one string value with one integer value for string replication. Otherwise, Python will just give an error message. So this is how you will be able to explain about the integer, about the floating point and about the string data type. So let us see how it will going to work with our Python program. If I want to print, say for example, I want to print Kaveri give one space plus, then I will say institute give one space plus of give one space plus technology. Then if you try to run, you will go to get this as Kaveri Institute of Technology. Suppose if I don't give the space after Y here. Similarly, after E, Institute, after of F, then if you try to run, see what happens. The difference is simple. That means after Kaveri, you will not going to give space. So after Y, immediately it will start with I. And after E, since you are not given any space, it will going to continue of technology. After F, you have to give space, otherwise technology will start from that place. That means even though you are concatenating, the concatenating will be continuous one. Similarly, if you want to run this print introduction to Python programming, you can see introduction give one space plus 2 give one space plus Python give one space plus programming. Now if you try to run these two, you can see the clear. You can see that after introduction you have space, after 2 you have space, after Python you have space, and this program. So this is how we will be able to use the concatenation, that is concatenating the two string values. But suppose if I want to run, can I concatenate a string, that is Kaveri plus I will use 42 without giving string. It's an integer value. So if you try to print, can only concatenate string to str, not int. So this is how. Suppose if I give code here, what happens? Let us see. Will it be possible to do that? Yes, Kaveri 42 it will going to take. So I can concatenate only the string, but I cannot concatenate the string with an integer. And similarly, can I use the multiplication symbol? Yes, the multiplication is done for what? Multiplication is done for whole numbers and then float numbers. And if I want to multiply the string, then you have to have only one string with an integer value. I will say 4. And then if you try to run, so you can see Kaveri will be copied 4 times. But can I use 4.0? Will it be possible? Let us see how. No, it won't. Because the Kaveri 4.0, it is not possible because the multiplication can be done only on the integer value, not with a floating point number. Please remember this. Can I use between the two strings, can I multiply? I will say institute and then Kaveri give space star institute. Again it is a string. So if you try to multiply that, it is not possible because can't multiply sequence by non-int or type string. So you cannot multiply two strings. It is not possible. I can add the two strings, but if I want to multiply, one should be a string value and the other one has to be an integer value. Even if I use the float number, it is not possible to multiply. So this is how we will be able to analyze it, and you can explain the string concatenation and the string replication. Thank you.